We do have an application that is called the Optimyst Pro boxes. So basically it's cassettes that go inside of a box that have glass, and they kind of help protect the integrity of the flame, along with Optimyst Linear. So we have a transducer that is producing the vapor, and out of these little orange outlets here is where the vapor comes out. And that natural rise of the flame color is being facilitated by the heater that is creating updraft. I would say they're, with the enclosed like Optimyst Linear or some of these other units that we have that are enclosed, they behave similar to a direct vent because there's a heater inside of a glass box that is creating warmth inside the box. In the top of our display over here, we have Optimyst products. So this is going to be our Optimyst cassettes. The cassettes are going to be most beneficial to custom applications, so you can link multiple of them together. We have in March color cassette versions, so you can change the flame color from just the standard orange, but also pretty much any color. Those will be app compatible as well, so you'll start to see a theme throughout our newer products. All the newer products are going to have Flame Connect app and control them from your phone.
So the cassettes are smart as well.
Going forward, yes.
Yep.
Eventually, the color cassettes, the standard cassette here, will eventually go away and everything will be color, but right now we're in the transition period of launching the color, and then eventually the yellow ones will go away. All of our vapor product do require an intake air, so one thing to keep in mind with how these function, there's a heater that's running across the entire length of the opening here, and that heater is creating an updraft for the vapor. So we have a transducer that is producing the vapor, and out of these little orange outlets here is where the vapor comes out, and that natural rise of the flame color is being facilitated by the heater that is creating updraft. So once the heaters are warm, it's going to create this natural cycle of heat rising, and you need an opening to allow that heat or the air to get to the bottom of the cassettes to facilitate that.
Do you have it here?
We don't actually in this display. It's kind of open air, and we are kind of at the mercy of the airflow in the room affecting the flame, right? On top of no intake, so those two things together are kind of diminishing, I would say, the flame visual, but we're getting enough to where people can see the idea.
With the proper installation, the flame would actually look better?
Flame would look definitely, like right now for this second, it does, you can kind of tell it's definitely a little bit more substantial. We're kind of, depends on what's happening right in the room.
Yeah.
So we do have an application that is called the Optimyst Pro boxes. So basically it's cassettes that go inside of a box that have glass, and they kind of help protect the integrity of the flame, along with Optimyst Linear. So that's also going to be a Flame Connect app feature unit as well. So we do have other products that are outside of just a cassette / custom application that do allow to protect the flame integrity, so it does visually stay consistent rather than just open air.
Yeah. But overall, right now it's really bright here, and like you can see the flame is nice.
Yeah, for sure.
And the heat will come out right here.
So the cassettes are just flame visual only. So the heater that's in here is just, again, for the flame that create that updraft, for the flame to rise. All other units do have applications for a heater function. This one is bottle fed for the show. If you were to do a custom application or an installation in a home, you would want to run a water line, a 1/4-inch PEX line to it.
Yeah.
So you just make sure that you have your 120 volt electrical connection for the cassettes, and then also your water line to the units.
Yeah.
We do have launching a bottle fed drawer version. So one will be an insert, and then one will be more of a dedicated fireplace that you would build around. The whole purpose of those is if you are in a situation where you can't get water to the unit, those are an option for someone to either retro or install a new unit without having a water line plumb. So just like how these are bottle fed.
Ooh, yes, thanks for the demo on this one, yeah.
So you get one 20-inch section with a full bottle. You're looking at probably like 8-10 hours of runtime.
Okay.
So that's what those units, the new ones that are launching right now or soon, are intended for, is applications that people just can't get a water line to them.
Yeah.
But if you do have a water line, here's your intake, your water line into the unit would come in through here, and then instead of having the bottle go in here, you essentially would have this guy go here, reconnect here, and then
Set it and forget it. You don't have to refill
Yeah.
it every 10 hours.
the transducers that are creating the flame effect inside of here, they do eventually wear out, so they are a consumable part. I'll unplug this one. So eventually this transducer that's down in here will eventually need to be replaced. Think of them as like brake pads that are a consumable part.
Is it something that you guys provide as like the main?
It's an RP part that people can order.
Okay. How long does one last?
Depends on the hardness of the water, yada yada, but probably roughly a year. They can last longer. It just, honestly, I would replace them once they stop working.
So that's kind of the maintenance part.
Yes, and every cassette does come with an extra transducer in it.
Okay.
And there is wiring underneath here to add a second plug so you can have two transducers going at once.
What's the benefit of having the second transducer?
Basically, more saturation of flame.
Bigger flame, kind of?
Yeah. So if you feel like your thickness of your flame over here is inadequate and you want more, then you can add a second transducer to increase the volume of vapor.
What's the price point on those transducers?
For the transducer, roughly like $90.
Okay.
Somewhere in that ballpark. And then for a 20-inch cassette, it's about $2,000.
Oh, okay. And you have a 20 and a 40-inch size?
So we just have a 20-inch.
20-inch.
So if you want a 40-inch like you see here, you'd buy two of the 20-inch cassette 500.
And then they connect together, right? And
Yes.
you can make a very long fireplace if you
Correct.
wanted to.
So there's screw in a hole here and on the chassis that basically allows them to physically connect to each other.
Okay. And then the remote syncs as well.
Well, there are remotes for these, and you can sync multiple together on one remote. I believe it's up to roughly 6.
Okay.
So if you need more than that, then you just would have more than one remote. But there's also a toggle switch as well. So like you can have this fed somewhere. So whenever we put the media bed back on, or at least come through up here maybe.
If you want like a manual access.
Without having to remove the media tray, you can have this be how you power on and off the unit.
Got it.
And just
Yeah.
have control of the functions if you don't want to use a remote.
Okay.
Let's plug this guy back in.
Now, many people are concerned with the humidity. Does it raise humidity in the air?
It's very minimal. It's the equivalent of a few people in a room talking, so it's not intended, or you're not going to perceive a massive increase in humidity in the room.
What about enclosed units? Is there like a danger of condensation or anything?
I
like
would
that?
say they're, with the enclosed, like Optimyst Linear or some of these other units that we have that are enclosed, they behave similar to a direct vent because there's a heater inside of a glass box that is creating warmth inside the box. There might be some condensation that builds up whenever you first turn on the unit.
Like in the gas fireplace.
Yeah, so just leave it running a little bit longer, and then eventually the vapor or the mist on the glass will go away. Another thing that most people don't know or don't consider is if you are setting the logs or the media over the vapor opening too close to the glass. So let's say we're in an enclosed box here with the glass in the front, and you have your log media right against the glass. You might see condensation around that log because the vapor that's coming off of the log doesn't have a chance to dissipate in the air and is traveling to that log and creating a place where that vapor can collect.
So you want to set it a little bit.
Yeah, you want the media
on
to
the
not
side.
be right against the glass, the front of the back. So it's little tiny things like that whenever you're setting the unit up that help make sure that you have a presentable flame in glass whenever you're putting together the unit.
And when it comes to maintenance, so aside from replacing that part, is there anything else that needs to be done?
Depending on how much sediment is in the water, you will start to see a little bit of white that's basically a mineral in the water, and so you might need to scrub that.
Wipe it off.
Same thing with the glass. The glass will probably get some mineral buildup, and occasionally you need to give it a good wipe so it's clear, so it doesn't have this misted effect on it. So
Just basic cleaning, essentially.
yeah, it's not too crazy as far as it's just making sure that people understand that there is a little bit more involved with an Optimyst or a vapor product versus
The
an Ignite.
LED.
Yeah.
Something that you don't need to do anything to at all. Wonderful. Thank you so much for this educational session.
Yeah, no problem.
The place show.